Friends, fellow dreamers, I'm here today to ask you a very simple but very important question. Do you love yourself? It might sound like a strange question, not one we usually talk about. But trust me, real change, healing, and success all start with your answer to this. We live in a world that tells us to love others, to care for them, to give and give and give. We're taught that being selfless is the best way to live a good life. But while we do all that, we often forget the most important person, ourselves. So today, I want to talk about self-love. I want to remind you that loving yourself isn't selfish. It's not about being vain. It's your base, your foundation. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help others if you're not strong and happy yourself. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you looked in the mirror and only seen faults? How many times have you put down your looks, your skills, or even your choices? We are often our own worst critics. But what if, instead of looking at what's wrong, we accepted it? What if, instead of criticizing ourselves, we celebrated who we are right now? You don't have to be perfect to love yourself. Perfection isn't even real. It's your cracks, your scars, your struggles that show your story and make you truly human. Every flaw, every tough time, every experience shapes you, teaches you, and makes you who you are. We should accept these parts of ourselves with the same love and kindness we'd give a friend. Loving yourself means forgiving yourself. It means knowing you've made mistakes, but those mistakes don't define you. They're just chapters in your story, and you are the writer of your own life. Your story isn't over, and you hold the pen. Loving yourself also means taking care of yourself, not just your body, but your mind, your feelings, and your spirit. It means setting boundaries, saying no when you need to, and surrounding yourself with people who make you feel good. It means being kind to yourself, just as you would be kind to anyone else. You see, the relationship you have with yourself is the most important one you'll ever have. It's the base for everything else. If we don't love ourselves, we can't expect others to love us in the way we deserve. We show people how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. I know it's sometimes hard to love ourselves, especially when the world keeps telling us to be something we're not. But I urge you to fight against that pressure. Don't let what society expects decide your worth. You are enough, just as you are right now. So, let me ask you again. Do you love yourself? I hope the answer is yes. But if it's not, that's okay. Start with small steps. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with respect. Celebrate your wins, no matter how tiny. And most importantly, remember that you are worthy of love simply because you exist. Self-love is the main key to all growth and healing. Many people don't get it right, often mixing it up with being arrogant, vain, or selfish. But the truth is, self-love is a powerful force that changes every part of our lives. It's not about thinking you're better than others or needing praise from outside sources. It's about seeing your own deep worth and treating yourself with the kindness, understanding, and respect you truly deserve. It's the rock-solid base on which we build a healthy and happy life. Without self-love, growth stops, and healing becomes almost impossible. At its heart, self-love is knowing your own value. It's realizing that you deserve care, acceptance, and happiness just for being you. Too often, we're taught to look for approval from our parents, friends, partners, or society. We're told our worth depends on outside things: how we look, how successful we are, how much we give to others. But true self-love has nothing to do with meeting outside expectations or fitting into a mold. It's about accepting yourself as you are, with all your strengths, weaknesses, flaws, and beauty. Only when we love ourselves can we truly begin to heal and grow, both as people and as part of the wider community. Self-love builds the foundation for personal growth. Growth starts inside you. When we can love and accept ourselves, we open the door to knowing ourselves better and getting better. We stop needing others to approve of us and start trusting our own thoughts and choices. We become more okay with change and stronger when things get tough. It's only when we love ourselves that we can set good boundaries, make choices that match what we believe in, and take the chances needed for us to grow. Without self-love, we stay stuck, holding on to bad habits, relationships, and ways of thinking that stop us from reaching our full potential. When we see our own worth, we create the space to change and grow into the best version of ourselves. Self-love also plays a huge role in healing. Life is full of challenges, tough times, and painful experiences that can leave deep emotional marks. Whether it's losing someone dear, a breakup, a traumatic event, or just the weight of daily problems, we all feel pain. In these moments, it's easy to blame ourselves or feel sorry for ourselves. We might doubt our worth or think we don't deserve love or happiness. But healing can only begin when we stop punishing ourselves for our pain and start treating ourselves with the kindness we'd offer a friend in the same spot. Self-love gives us room to heal by letting us feel our pain without judgment, by being kind to ourselves during hard times, and by taking the steps needed to care for our emotional, physical, and mental health. It's only when we fully accept ourselves, pain, flaws, and all, that we can truly start to heal. A lack of self-love can deeply affect our relationships. When we don't love ourselves, we can't truly love others. We might seek approval from those around us, often giving up our own needs and wants. We might stay in unhealthy relationships or let ourselves be treated badly because we believe we don't deserve better. Or we might constantly try to prove our worth to others, looking for outside approval instead of finding inner peace and self-acceptance. On the other hand, when we love ourselves, we attract healthier relationships. We set clear boundaries, tell people what we need and want, and treat others with the same respect and kindness we show ourselves. Self-love helps us see that we are worthy of love, respect, and care. And it gives us the power to build meaningful, supportive connections with those who truly value us. Self-love also matters a lot for our mental and emotional health. When we love ourselves, we are better at handling stress, worry, and bad feelings. We don't let our worth be decided by outside events or what others think. Instead, we build an inner calm and strength that helps us get through life's challenges. Self-love fights against self-doubt, fear, and insecurity. It helps us have a good view of ourselves, and it encourages us to be kind to ourselves when we mess up or face setbacks. When we are kind to ourselves, we are more likely to practice self-care, which is key for good mental health. This includes things like being mindful, exercising, and spending time doing things that bring us joy. Without self-love, it's hard to make our well-being a priority or to even know when we need rest, support, or care. Self-love is the key to accepting and embracing our imperfections. None of us are perfect. We all have flaws, weaknesses, and areas where we can do better. But when we love ourselves, we accept these imperfections as part of who we are. We don't judge ourselves harshly or feel the need to hide our flaws from the world. Instead, we look at our imperfections with kindness and understanding. This acceptance lets go of the impossible standards of perfection that society often puts on us. It frees us from the pressure to constantly meet outside expectations, and it allows us to be more real and genuine with others. When we embrace our imperfections, we create space for self-compassion and growth, instead of self-criticism and shame. Besides being the base for growth and healing, self-love also hugely impacts our ability to reach our goals and dreams. When we love ourselves, we believe in our own abilities. We trust that we can overcome problems, take risks, and go after the things that truly matter to us. Self-love gives us the courage to step out of our comfort zones and challenge ourselves to be better, do better, and achieve more. It helps us stay motivated and strong when things go wrong, knowing that our worth isn't decided by our successes or failures. Instead, we are driven by an inner sense of purpose and passion, not the need for outside praise or approval. Self-love boosts our confidence and gives us the power to chase our dreams with determination and excitement. Self-love is also vital for having a balanced and happy life. It's easy to get caught up in the busy rush of daily life. The demands of work, relationships, and responsibilities can easily overwhelm us. But when we love ourselves, we see how important balance is. We understand that our well-being should be a top priority, and we make time for self-care and thinking about ourselves. This might mean setting aside time for activities that bring us joy, doing hobbies that feed our spirit, or simply taking a break when we feel worn out. Self-love encourages us to listen to our bodies, minds, and hearts, and to give ourselves the rest and care we need to refresh. It's only when we make self-love a priority that we can create a life that is not just successful but also meaningful and truly fulfilling. In a world that often highlights achievements, productivity, and outside approval, it's easy to forget how important self-love is. Society constantly tells us we must do more, be more, and prove ourselves to be worthy of love and respect. But this way of thinking is a trap. True happiness and success come not from what we achieve, but from who we are and how we treat ourselves along the way. When we love ourselves, we are free from the pressure to fit in with what society expects. We are free to follow our own path, to live truly, and to embrace our unique qualities and gifts. Self-love isn't something you achieve once and then it's done. It's an ongoing journey, a daily practice. It takes patience, effort, and knowing yourself. It might not always be easy, especially when life is hard or the world is unkind. But the more we grow self-love, the stronger we become. It's the key to unlocking our potential, healing our wounds, and living a life of purpose, passion, and peace. So let's make a clear choice to love ourselves, to honor our worth, and to build a strong base of self-love that will support us through every challenge and victory to come. Take care of yourself, your mind, your feelings, and your body. This might sound simple, but it's one of the most important and often forgotten parts of living a balanced and happy life. In the daily rush of duties, work stress, and personal plans, it's easy to neglect our own health. However, taking care of ourselves in all these ways is not just a nice extra or a treat. It's something we must do to live a life that is truly healthy, lively, and meaningful. When we put self-care first in every part of our being, we are better able to handle life's problems, chase our dreams, and be fully present for the people we care about. Caring for your mind is key because your thoughts and beliefs shape how you see the world. When we don't care for our mental health, it can lead to stress, worry, and feeling constantly swamped. Mental self-care means making time to manage our thoughts, practice mindfulness, and grow a positive mindset. It's about noticing when our minds are racing, when we're too worried, or when we're stuck in bad thought patterns, and then taking steps to calm down and focus. Doing things like meditation, writing in a journal, or just having quiet moments during the day can help clear our minds and bring clarity. By taking care of our mental health, we become stronger, better able to focus on what truly matters, and gain the strength to face tough situations calmly. Emotional self-care is just as important because our feelings tell us how we're dealing with life. We often feel pressure to hide, deny, or ignore our emotions to seem strong or calm. But this can lead to emotional exhaustion, anger, and feeling disconnected from our true selves. Emotional self-care is about accepting and honoring our feelings, both the good and the bad. It means making space to feel, to process, and to understand our emotions instead of bottling them up or pretending they don't matter. By regularly checking in with ourselves, we can learn what our emotional needs are and take steps to meet them. This might include getting support from a friend, expressing ourselves creatively, or using methods that help us work through old feelings. When we care for our emotional well-being, we build a greater sense of self-awareness and self-acceptance, which leads to better relationships with others and a deeper connection to our own feelings. Taking care of our physical body is perhaps the most understood type of self-care, but it's no less important. Our bodies are what carry us through life. If we ignore their needs, we risk hurting our overall well-being. Physical self-care involves feeding our bodies with healthy foods, staying active, getting enough rest, and dealing with any health issues that come up. It's easy to fall into bad habits, especially when life gets busy. But prioritizing our physical health pays off greatly in the long run. Regular exercise helps reduce stress, improves mood, and boosts energy levels, while a balanced diet supports both body strength and mental clarity. Enough sleep is also crucial, as it allows our bodies to recharge and fix themselves. Without proper sleep, we become more likely to get sick, and our mental and emotional health can suffer too. Physical self-care also means listening to our bodies when they tell us to rest or see a doctor. Ignoring physical pain or pushing ourselves too hard can lead to long-term harm and unnecessary suffering. These three parts of self-care, mental, emotional, and physical, are all linked and help each other. When we take care of one area, it positively affects the others. For example, regular physical activity not only strengthens the body but also improves mental clarity and boosts emotional well-being by releasing endorphins, which are natural mood lifters. On the other hand, practicing mindfulness or dealing with emotions can reduce mental stress and help control physical reactions to worry. When one area is out of balance, it affects the others. If we neglect our mental health, it can lead to physical exhaustion and emotional ups and downs. If we neglect our emotional health, we might struggle to focus mentally or have physical symptoms like headaches or tension. So, self-care must be looked at as a whole, addressing all parts of our being with equal care and attention. It's important to remember that self-care is not selfish. In fact, taking care of ourselves lets us show up better for others. When we are mentally, emotionally, and physically well, we have the energy, patience, and compassion to support those around us. We become more effective in our personal and work lives, and we are better able to handle daily demands. By making time for self-care, we build a strong foundation for ourselves that helps us be more present, more focused, and stronger when life gets tough. Another key part of self-care is setting boundaries. Often, we get overwhelmed because we find it hard to say no or set limits with others. Whether it's at work, in relationships, or with social plans, setting clear boundaries is vital for keeping our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. When we don't set boundaries, we risk burnout and resentment. By learning to say no when needed and protecting our time and energy, we make sure we have enough left to care for ourselves and pursue what brings us joy and satisfaction. Boundaries are not about being strict or mean. They are about protecting our inner peace and keeping our ability to be our best selves. Self-care isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. What works for one person might not work for another. And it's important to find the self-care practices that feel right to us as individuals. Some might find peace and renewal in being alone, while others might benefit from spending time with loved ones. Some might prefer physical activities like yoga or running, while others might focus on creative expression or spiritual practices. The main thing is to make self-care a regular and intentional part of our lives. It's not about finding the perfect routine, but rather about making time for activities that nourish our minds, bodies, and hearts in a way that feels good to us. By putting mental, emotional, and physical self-care first, we create a life that is more stable, centered, and aligned with our true selves. We develop the tools to handle life's challenges with grace, and we create the space to experience greater joy, fulfillment, and peace. Self-care isn't something we do now and then. It's something we add to our daily lives. When we make self-care a priority, we acknowledge that we are worthy of love, attention, and care. And we realize that by taking care of ourselves, we are ultimately better able to care for others and help the world around us. Believe in your potential. This is the starting point for every achievement and every breakthrough. It's easy to feel limited by our life situations, by the voices of doubt inside us, or by what others think. Many of us grow up with stories that tell us who we are, what we can do, and how far we can go. These stories can often hold us back, trapping us in a box that judges our potential based on past events, what society expects, or our failures. But true growth comes from understanding that our potential isn't set by any of these outside things. Our potential is something deep inside us, something huge and always growing. When we believe in our potential, we allow ourselves to dream bigger, aim higher, and step into challenges with confidence. Belief in ourselves isn't about being arrogant or overly confident. Instead, it's about seeing the amazing power and possibilities within us. It's about trusting that we can do much more than we often think. Belief in our potential helps us break free from limits we put on ourselves and start taking the steps needed to make our dreams real. One of the best ways to build this belief is by changing how we think. Often, the biggest block to reaching our potential is the fear of failure. We avoid taking risks because we're scared of messing up or not being good enough. But it's important to remember that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Failure doesn't mean we're incapable or have no potential. It means we are learning and growing. The most successful people aren't the ones who never fail, but the ones who keep going despite problems. They embrace failure as a lesson, not a defeat. Believing in our potential means understanding that every setback is a chance to get better, to build strength, and to grow stronger. To believe in our potential, we must also stop comparing ourselves to others. In a world full of social media, constant messages about what success looks like, and society's pressures, it's easy to compare ourselves. We look at someone else's achievements and think, "Why can't I do that?" Or, "I'm not as talented as they are." Comparison, however, steals joy and confidence. Everyone's journey is unique, and our potential isn't limited by someone else's success. What we see on the surface rarely tells the whole story. The years of hard work, the sacrifices, the failures, and the challenges that person faced to get where they are. Instead of comparing ourselves, we must learn to trust that our path is our own, and that our potential is special and deserves to be recognized. Believing in our potential also means overcoming the negative stories we've told ourselves over time. Many of us carry limiting beliefs from our childhood, from past experiences, or from people around us. We might believe we aren't smart enough, talented enough, or worthy of success. These beliefs can become so deeply set in our minds that they control our actions, or worse, our lack of action. However, these beliefs are not truths. They are just stories we've told ourselves, often based on fear, rejection, or disappointment. To believe in our potential, we must rewrite these stories. We must challenge the negative thoughts and replace them with statements of our strength, our ability, and our worth. It's not enough to just think positively. We must act in ways that prove our belief in ourselves. When we take small steps outside our comfort zone, when we push past fear and doubt, we begin to create a new story that shows our potential and capability. Another key part of believing in our potential is setting clear goals and taking real steps toward them. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by how big our dreams are. We look at the long road ahead and feel discouraged by how far we have to go. But true belief in our potential doesn't mean expecting everything to happen instantly. It means having faith that every small effort we make is part of a bigger picture. That every little action, no matter how small it seems, is bringing us closer to our goal. By breaking down our dreams into manageable steps, we build confidence as we achieve each one. With every goal met, our belief in our ability grows, and we start to see our potential coming true in real ways. Also, believing in your potential requires having supportive people around you. What people say and do can either boost our belief in ourselves or bring it down.